Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Deep Talk podcast. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into one of those timeless questions that just never gets old: marriage. And not just marriage in general, but specifically the big debate: arranged marriages versus marriages out of love. Which one makes more sense? Which one actually works better?
Hi guys, I'm Maya, and honestly, this is such a juicy topic. Some people swear by love marriages. They think it's the only way to build a real relationship. Others believe arranged marriages are stronger, more stable, and even more respectful. So, Alex, this isn't going to be just a boring lecture, right? We're going to have some fun with this.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to explore both sides. We're going to share stories, some cultural insights, even a few surprising statistics that might change how you see things. And hey, Maya, maybe by the end of this chat, we'll decide which one we'd pick for ourselves.
Careful, Alex. You might get us in trouble. But seriously, this is more than just a cultural debate. It's about values, freedom, family, and the way love is understood around the world. And we know you guys listening might have your own opinions too, so stick around until the end. We'll be asking you what you think.
Exactly. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, because today's conversation is going to get deep, a little spicy, and maybe even emotional. Let's jump right in.
All right, before we start throwing around opinions, let's actually define what we mean. Alex, when you hear the words arranged marriage, what comes to mind?
Good question. For me, an arranged marriage is when the families, usually the parents, play the biggest role in choosing the partner. Sometimes the couple gets a say, sometimes not so much. The families look at compatibility, background, culture, sometimes even finances, and then they bring the couple together. It's not just about the two people, it's about two families connecting.
Exactly. And to be fair, arranged marriages come in different forms. Some are very traditional, where the bride and groom barely know each other until after the wedding. Others are more modern, like a hybrid, where families introduce the couple, but they get time to meet, talk, and decide if they're on board. So it's not always the dramatic, you marry this stranger tomorrow situation.
Right. Bollywood and Hollywood love to exaggerate that part. Now, when we talk about love marriages, it's kind of the opposite. The couple meets, maybe in school, at work, online, whatever. They fall in love, decide they want to be together, and then they convince the families, or sometimes they don't even bother convincing anyone. It's very much about personal choice first, family approval second.
Yeah, love marriage puts the freedom of the individual at the center. It's about emotions, chemistry, and personal decision. Arranged marriage, on the other hand, puts tradition and family at the center. So you already see where the clash comes from: freedom versus tradition, heart versus logic, self versus society.
And that's exactly why this debate is fascinating. Both sides have their strengths, both sides have their weaknesses. And honestly, the answer isn't as simple as saying, oh, love is better or arranged is better. It depends on so many things: culture, personality, family dynamics, even economics.
True. So let's break it down properly. First, we'll explore the pros of arranged marriages. Then we'll look at the cons. After that, we'll switch to love marriages, the ups and the downs, and then we'll really get into some debate between us.
Oh, I can already feel the arguments coming. Let's do it.
Okay, Alex, let's give arranged marriages a fair shot first. What would you say is the biggest advantage of them?
Honestly, family support. When your marriage is arranged, you usually have the full backing of both families. That means less drama, more stability, and a stronger social network. If a couple faces problems, the families are right there to help patch things up, instead of saying, well, you chose this person, so deal with it.
Exactly. It's like having a safety net. And let's not underestimate how powerful that can be. Marriage isn't just two people, it's responsibilities, kids, money, conflicts. Having two families invested in your success can actually reduce the pressure. In a love marriage, sometimes the couple feels like they're on their own.
And another big pro is compatibility from a practical standpoint. Parents and families often think long-term. They check things like financial stability, cultural values, religion, even lifestyle habits. It's less about butterflies in the stomach and more about will these two people actually make it through 40 years together?
And let's be real, those bunk flies, they fade. The romance stage doesn't last forever. But having a partner who shares your values, your goals, and your traditions, arranged marriages often get that right because families look at the bigger picture. They're less distracted by temporary emotions.
Yeah, and I've seen statistics, especially in places like India, that show arranged marriages have lower divorce rates compared to love marriages. Now, of course, we have to question if that's always because of happiness or just because of social pressure to stay together. But still, on paper, it looks like arranged marriages are more stable.
That's true. And I think another benefit is respect. In arranged marriages, there's often this sense of duty and respect toward the partner and the families involved. It's not always about passion, it's about commitment. And sometimes commitment grows into love over time. That idea of love after marriage, it actually works for many people.
Exactly. People sometimes underestimate the human ability to adopt. You put two people in a home, give them shared responsibilities, and over time, affection builds. It's not always dramatic love at first sight, but it can be steady and long-lasting.
So, to sum it up, arranged marriages often mean family support, practical compatibility, long-term stability, and respect. Honestly, Alex, that doesn't sound so bad.
Nope, it doesn't. If you're someone who values tradition, stability, and family harmony, arranged marriages can actually make a lot of sense. All right, so we've been nice to arranged marriages for a while, but come on, Alex, let's be honest. There are definitely some drawbacks too.
Oh, for sure. I think the first one that jumps out is lack of personal choice. In many arranged marriages, especially traditional ones, the individuals don't always get to fully know or choose their partner. It can feel like you're marrying someone because everyone else decided it's a good match, not because you feel it in your heart.
Exactly. And let's be real, marriage is one of the biggest decisions of your life. If you don't have a strong say in who you're going to spend decades with, that can feel suffocating. Some people end up resenting not having that freedom. It's almost like buying a house without ever stepping inside it first.
That's a pretty good metaphor. Another con is that arranged marriages sometimes prioritize family reputation or financial status over personal happiness. Like, oh, this family is wealthy, or this family has a great name in society. And suddenly, love, chemistry, and compatibility get pushed to the side.
Right, and that's where it can become dangerous. You might end up with someone who looks perfect on paper, but in real life you don't connect with them emotionally or mentally. And without that connection, marriage can feel empty.
Another problem is adjustment. In some traditional arranged marriages, the couple barely knows each other before the wedding. That means after marriage, they're basically strangers learning how to live together. That can cause clashes in habits, personality differences, or even values that were overlooked during the arrangement process.
Yeah, and we also can't ignore the darker side. Sometimes people, especially women, feel pressured into arranged marriages they don't want. In extreme cases, it can cross the line into forced marriage, which is a completely different and unhealthy situation.
Absolutely. And let's not forget, just because divorce rates are low in arranged marriages doesn't always mean the couples are happy. Sometimes people stay because of cultural pressure, family expectations, or fear of judgment. That doesn't equal a successful marriage, it just equals a marriage that didn't end legally.
Exactly. So to sum it up, lack of choice, risk of emotional disconnect, pressure from family, and sometimes even forced situations. Those are some pretty heavy cons.
Yeah, arranged marriages might work for many, but they're definitely not a magical solution. They come with their own risks and challenges. We've picked on arranged marriages a bit. Let's flip the coin now. Love marriages. What's the first big advantage that comes to your mind?
Freedom of choice, Alex. That's the biggest one. In a love marriage, you choose your partner based on your own feelings, preferences, and values. Nobody's forcing you. You're the driver of your own life. And that freedom is empowering.
Exactly. And along with that choice comes the emotional connection. Love marriages usually start with attraction, friendship, and affection. That means the couple has chemistry and already knows they enjoy spending time together. You're not starting from zero. You already have a bond.
Right. And that bond can make the relationship feel more authentic. It's not about two families making a deal, it's about two people who genuinely want to share their lives. That builds intimacy and trust early on, which can be really powerful.
Another pro is communication. In love marriages, couples usually date before marriage. They talk, argue, compromise, and learn about each other's personalities. So by the time they tie the knot, they already have some experience navigating conflicts together.
Exactly, and that makes for smoother transitions. You already know how he reacts when he's stressed or how she behaves when she's angry. You've seen each other's good sides and bad sides. That reality check can help avoid shocks after marriage.
Also, let's not forget passion. Love marriages usually start with strong emotional attraction, maybe even romance. And while passion doesn't last forever, starting with that spark can make the beginning of marriage exciting and joyful. It gives the couple motivation to work harder when times get tough.
And let's not underestimate personal growth. Falling in love, dating, and choosing your partner teaches you a lot about yourself, your boundaries, your values, your dreams. In a way, the journey of finding love shapes who you are as a person.
That's true. Love marriages can encourage individuality. It's like saying, I respect my family, but at the end of the day, this is my life and my choice. That sense of independence can feel really empowering.
So, freedom, emotional connection, communication, passion, and personal growth. Love marriages definitely have their shine.
Yeah, and honestly, it's easy to see why so many movies, songs, and novels glorify love marriages. They're romantic, they're exciting, and they give people hope that love conquers all.
Okay, so we gave love marriages their moment in the sun, but Alex, let's be real, they're not all sunshine and roses. What would you say is the biggest downside?
Honestly, expectations. In love marriages, couples often go in with sky-high hopes, thinking love will magically solve everything. But when real life hits, bills, jobs, kids, suddenly that romantic spark isn't enough to carry the weight.
True, and because love marriages are so focused on feelings, they can sometimes overlook practical realities like financial stability, cultural differences, or long-term compatibility. You're so in love at the beginning that you might ignore the red flags.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. Since the couple chose each other, if things go wrong, society often blames them. Like, well, you picked this person, so it's your fault. There's less family support compared to arranged marriages.
That's such a good point. Also, love marriages sometimes face resistance from families, especially if the partners are from different religions, social classes, or cultures. That tension can strain the relationship. You're not just fighting your own battles, you're fighting your family's too.
Absolutely. And let's not forget divorce rates. In many places, love marriages tend to have higher divorce rates. Maybe because people follow passion instead of logic, or because when things get tough, they don't have the same family pressure to stay together.
Yeah, it's almost like freedom comes with a price. You get the independence to choose, but you also carry the full responsibility if it falls apart.
Well put. So, cons of love marriages: unrealistic expectations, lack of family support, potential cultural conflicts, and higher risk of breakup. Definitely not perfect.
All right, Alex, let's stir the pot. If you had to pick one, arranged or love, right now, what would you choose?
Wow, going straight for the jugular, huh? Honestly, I lean towards love marriage. I just value freedom and emotional connection too much. I want to feel like I chose my partner because my heart and mind agreed, not because our families made a deal.
Interesting, but don't you think that's kind of idealistic? Like emotions fade. What happens when passion dies down and you realize you married someone whose life goals don't align with yours?
Fair point, but that's where communication comes in. If two people fall in love and really take the time to understand each other before marriage, they can work through those challenges. At least you know who you're dealing with.
See, that's where I lean towards arranged marriages. I feel like they're more practical. The families vet things you might overlook. They think about the long term, finances, cultural fit, lifestyle, and you still have time to build love afterwards.
So, but don't you think there's a risk of ending up with someone you don't connect with at all? Like, okay, great, our families think we're perfect on paper, but what if we don't even enjoy each other's company?
That risk exists, but don't forget, love can grow. Shared responsibility, mutual respect, family support, it creates an environment where affection can develop naturally. In contrast, love marriages start strong but can fizzle when reality sets in.
So basically, you're saying arranged marriages are about starting with stability and growing into love, while love marriages are about starting with love and hoping stability follows.
Exactly. And which one works better? Well, it depends on the couple and the culture.
Let's zoom out a bit. Around the world, these systems look very different. In Western countries, love marriages are the norm. People date for years, sometimes live together before marriage. Arranged marriages are seen as old-fashioned or even strange.
Meanwhile, in South Asia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, arranged marriages are still very common, but they're evolving. Nowadays, parents might introduce potential matches, but the couple gets to meet, chat, and decide. It's more of a guided choice than a forced one.
Yeah, and in the Middle East, arranged marriages often focus on family honor and traditions. But again, younger generations are slowly blending the two. Parents introduce, but kids still want to feel love before marriage.
And in some African cultures, arranged marriages are about strengthening tribes or communities. It's less about individuals and more about social ties. While in Europe or America, marriage is almost entirely about personal happiness.
So culture plays a huge role. What feels like normal in one country can feel shocking in another. That's why this debate is so complex. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay, Alex, let's get personal. Imagine you had to choose tomorrow. Your family brings you a perfectly matched partner for an arranged marriage. On the other side, there's someone you're deeply in love with, but your family disapproves. What do you do?
You're putting me in a tough spot. Honestly, I'd probably follow my heart. It would be hard to live my whole life wondering what could have been, but I also know it would create family drama, and that's not easy.
See, that's the conflict. For me, I think I'd lean toward a modern arranged marriage where my family suggests, but I still have veto power. That way I get the best of both worlds, family support and personal choice.
Smart move. Honestly, maybe the answer isn't picking one system over the other. It's about finding balance. Modern society allows for hybrids now.
Yeah, like arranged introductions that lean to love, or love marriages that involve families early to build support. It doesn't have to be black and white.
All right, listeners, now it's your turn. What do you think? Are arranged marriages a better idea because of stability and family support? Or do you believe love marriages are stronger because they're built on choice and passion?
We'd love to hear your stories, your opinions, and even your experiences. Drop a comment, share this episode, and let's keep this conversation alive. After all, love or marriage looks different for everyone.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep conversations, and we'll see you in the next episode.